Hey guys, I just saw A Quiet Place Part 2 in a theater. Like, I remember when I was asking, like, do you think that we'll ever get to see, like, a movie in a theater again? And we did. It was actually a lot more packed than I thought it would be. I actually wanted to go Wednesday afternoon, but then I remembered there was something else that happens on Wednesday afternoon, and also the fact that I think other than me, there were literally like two other people there. I mean, it's a Wednesday afternoon, so you know. So instead, I went the next day, Thursday, which is yesterday, at the time of filming this, in the evening at 9:40. And I remember when I signed up, there were only like a few people, and like other seats are blocked off. Like if you sit somewhere, the seats directly in front, left, right, and behind are blocked off because, God, distance or whatever. The thing that I know, so when I walked in, the seat direct, like I took a seat like way in the back corner, because I didn't. I feel awkward when I'm sitting anywhere other than the back, and then there's people behind me, and then I'm just thinking like, are people like? I know that no one cares, but like it's just still like, I feel like I'm being judged or whatever. By the way, sorry if you hear the washing machine in the background. I just don't know where else to film this right now. I remember it was only a handful of people when I signed up, but then when I walked in, there were like quite a few more people. Also, I don't think I even needed to buy the ticket because I literally like walked in and like there was nobody. There was nobody to check my ticket. I just checked the ticket and it was like theater 15, okay, and then I walked over and I didn't even know if because there was nothing that said A Quiet Place Part 2. The theater directly across was playing Black Widow apparently, which is weird because doesn't it come out today and not yesterday? But I just like looked and I was like, okay, let's walk in and see what happens. So then I just went over and like it was weird. I think that people might have been weirded out by the fact that I didn't have any food or drinks with me because I arrived like literally just at 9:40. So I just walked in and for a moment I was thinking like I'm not even sure if this is the right theater. I might be watching a completely different movie. But then no, there was the guy either I don't was he the dad character or was he the new guy? I don't know. There was some guy and he was like an actor from the movie and he's or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was a director or something. He had something to do with the movie and he said, "Thank you very much for coming to the theater in A Quiet Place Part 2. Since you're here, it obviously means that you appreciate being in a room with other people. Yada yada yada. Enjoy the show." I wanted to record it, but I'm sorry. I just couldn't get it in time. It was very short and it like wasn't anything special. And then the movie started. Now, I remember the thing with A Quiet Place is that, especially when you're watching in a theater, if there's ever a movie that you need to be completely quiet while watching, is this one. As I was taking off my mask and like put it in my bag, like I was very like because I realized like oh shoot I still have my mask in my lap. Do I really want to have it this whole time? Am I going to be searching for it desperately when the movie's over and just going to be worrying about it? So I like slowly unzipped my backpack. I don't think that anyone heard it, but like I think if I remember, I thought like one guy a couple seats away from me like looked over and but then he realized I was just trying to be quiet. I don't know, but anyway, that's the relative theater experience. On to the actual movie. What did I actually think of the movie? I thought it was pretty good. I was considering whether I wanted to wait another day before reviewing this because I wanted to see how the emotions would set in. But I'm not really like super hyped or anything. No, I'm growing up and I'm becoming my soul is becoming hardened to the cruel nature of the world. So, but like you know, I do think that it is better than the original because I do think that it does like expand on the world. It introduces a lot more characters because in the first movie I think it was literally just that family and the old guy in the woods who dies immediately. I guess that's kind of a spoiler for the first movie, but why are you watching a review of The Quiet Place Part 2? Yeah, I'll try not to spoil much, at least at first. But I did think it was very like you know because there are two ways to look at this movie. You know, like whenever you're reviewing a movie, like take Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Is it a good Star Wars movie? Is it a good sequel to The Last Jedi? Is it a good conclusion to the Star Wars sequel trilogy? Is it a good conclusion to the Star Wars 9-film Skywalker saga? Is it a good movie in its own right? And the answer... Batman vs. Superman, Jesus. Is it a good Batman movie? Is it a good Superman movie? Is it a good sequel to The Man of Steel? Is it a good crossover movie? Is it a good superhero movie? Is it a good movie? eh. A Quiet Place Part 2, it's pretty much just, is it a good sequel to A Quiet Place, and is it a good movie? Is it a good horror movie and sci-fi movie, I guess. It's weird, because it's not really... I feel awkward saying that it's a horror movie, because it definitely is, but I feel like it needs a little asterisk next to it. But hey, like, you know, like, movies don't constantly need jump scares all the time. This movie is very just suspenseful, but there are jump scares too. It just... something feels different about it than most horror movies, I find. It's just... it's a... like, you know, because scary stuff is happening, but, like, you're kind of used to it at this point. And there are, like, many times that you're sitting there in the theater and you're just thinking, like, the monsters could show up at literally any point, and that's, of course, what the characters are thinking, too. But, like, you know, and when the monsters are wreaking havoc, it is scary, but it's not really treated as a horror movie in that sense. It's literally just, oh, the monsters are here now, okay. But, like, you know, and I remember in the theater, the deaf girl, of course, it'll do, like, it sometimes did in the first movie. I think they did in the first movie a couple times, where it'll be basically filmed from her perspective, and it'll be completely muted, because she's deaf, so it's representing what she's hearing. There was a long segment where it was completely muted because it was being filmed by her perspective, and I stuck my fingers in my ears everywhere that I could, because I felt like I was used to it at this point, that by the time that the movie was going to kick in the sound again, it was going to be with a jump scare. But it didn't happen. Instead, it was just like, you know, another guy comes into the shot and then the sound comes back on and you can hear, like, the birds and the trees and whatnot, but it wasn't like a jump scare, and I was like, oh, I was sitting here like a coward for nothing. So I do think it is a very good sequel to A Quiet Place, and I do think that it is a very good movie in its own right. Now, I do not in any way think that if something is a sequel, it needs to also be able to be a movie that you can just watch without seeing the first. Like, for example, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I remember I felt kind of bad because... like, someone was like, hey, let's go see Avengers Endgame, and then we saw it, and then she later was like, I could tell that I was missing something. Because Avengers Endgame is not a movie that you walk into without seeing any of the MCU beforehand. You know, I feel like you can watch it and have a good time with it, but not nearly as much, and you're just going to be like, what the frick is going on? And, you know, in A Quiet Place Part 2, there are quite a few references to A Quiet Place Part 1, where if you hadn't seen the first one, you would be thinking, like, what? Like, what? What are you talking about? What's going on? But I feel like if you did just watch it without seeing the first one, you wouldn't be, like, so confused that you wouldn't be able to keep up with anything. It's, like, totally at a very good pace and all that. You just kind of have to accept at a few points, like, okay, this is something that was established in the first movie that I probably should have seen first. But, yeah. If I were to give one criticism about it, it's probably that the ending isn't that conclusive. And I think it's very obvious that they're hoping to get A Quiet Place Part 3 out of this, which, hey, I'm all for. Which I'm all for. But, like, anyway, I think it's very obvious that they are hoping to get a third installment out of it. Who knows? Maybe this is gonna be like a huge franchise that just keeps on milking out movies to the end of the day, or maybe it's just gonna be a solid trilogy, kind of like Back to the Future. But, like, it's just, when you're watching the ending, the credits roll, and I was just sitting there like, oh, you're gonna end it right there. It wasn't like that it ended on a cliffhanger. If it ended, like, 10 seconds before it did, it would have ended on a cliffhanger. But instead, like, it's like, you know, they're in the huge climax, they solve the climax, there's like a few moments where it's like, oh, look, hopeful music or whatnot, and then it ends. So it's like, there wasn't really a conclusion to it. And there were, I feel like this is a semi-spoiler, the characters do, like, split off throughout the movie, and then they never find each other again. You like, see what each of the groups are going through on their own, it'll cut, we'll see what's going on with this group, we'll see what's going on with this group, back to this group, back to this group, back to this group. And by the end of the movie, it does tie in together, sort of, and then the movie ends. But they're still, like, completely separated, and you're like, oh, okay. But overall, I would say definitely watch it. Sorry that I'm making abrupt cuts every, like, 3 minutes or so. It's just I don't want the footage to get corrupt. That looks almost like a cross back there, the way that's like, I don't know, anyway, okay, so yeah, overall I would say watch it. On to more spoilery stuff, just some stuff that I wrote down, which is why I sat in the back row, because phone or whatever. I had it on minimal brightness, and it was still pretty bright. But like, anyway, the I was a bit ashamed to admit that the first thing that jump scared me, and probably the thing that jump scared me the most, was at the very beginning of the movie. It's not even anything to do with the monsters. It was literally just a car honk. Like the dad, because the first movie opens up like 3 months into the attack, and you kind of see this family, and they're all like, they already know everything about the monsters. But of course, on day one of the attack, everyone's making noise all the time. And of course, like, I remember I was thinking, like, what was it like when the monsters first came down? Because there's noise everywhere. Was the monsters literally just attacking everything? And we do get to see that in this movie, and the answer is, yeah, pretty much. The monsters are just going everywhere, because there's noise everywhere. And, before the monsters even attack, like, it's like, I feel like it was meant to jump scare you, because you're sitting there and you're thinking, like, oh man, when are the monsters gonna show up? And the dad's like just walking down the sidewalk, and then he goes onto the road a bit because he has to get to his car, and then he kind of steps in front of a car, and then the car honks, and like the camera like shows the car just as it's honking, and like I was like, oh my god, I didn't actually go but like, you know, another note, Bear Trap was completely screwed up. Like, it was so screwed up. Like, I was actually surprised with how good the acting was here, especially by that kid, because like his foot gets caught in a freaking bear trap, and when he started to scream, it really like it didn't register in my head just how painful that would be until he started screaming. Because of course you know that these characters know that the monsters are attracted to sound, but like the kid just got his foot caught in a freaking bear trap. So then, like it's weird because he doesn't really know how to react, and then he looks, and then he sees his foot, and then he starts screaming like hell, and then the mother goes over and he covers his face, but he's still like, sorry, that sound like a farting noise. But like, as soon as he started screaming, I was just like, I honestly like kind of forgot that he wasn't actually in pain, because it was so good. Another very good thing that I thought of acting, a very good acting example, is when the mother, she crawls into the vault and she thinks that her son is dead for a second. And like, you know, because if her son is dead, and she also doesn't know if her daughter's okay, so all that she would really have is the baby. And not that having the baby's bad or anything, but like, she just like, you know, especially seeing as she just lost her husband too. So like, the way that she passed him, and she's just like, just wake up, just wake up. Like, it wasn't like that. I don't know. Like, I'm not an actor myself, but it's just the way that she was acting, you could very well tell, like she's literally, like, demanding that he wakes up because she can't handle another loss right now or whatnot. I thought it was very good. Something that I don't get is when they were closing the vault, they closed a vault, and then the thing fell, and then they'd have a towel so that it doesn't make noise when it falls. But wouldn't closing the vault still make the noise? Like, I don't know. I thought that was weird. It's weird because you meet this guy. You meet this new guy who essentially replaces the role of the dad. Not really. But, like, he's there as the other guy. Hang on, I need to free up more space on my camera. I only have 4 minutes left. Here we go, 33 minutes. It's much better. Okay, anyway. So, when you meet this guy, at first he seems a bit mysterious, and he seems like he actually knows his stuff. I thought that he was going to lead them to, like, a tribe of people that he had hidden away in this vault. But then, like, they go into the vault, and it's, like, it's like a tight squeeze. And then I was thinking, like, okay, so this obviously isn't the place that they're staying. But then you find out that it kind of is. Like, you know, not in the tiny cramped space. I think there's limited oxygen in there. I think it's like literally airtight, because then later in the climax the kid's having to use the oxygen mask on both the baby and himself. But like, it's weird because like, but then you find out that this guy is like completely alone and whatnot, and you're just realizing like, oh yeah. Like, he has no idea what's going on either. I thought that he was, like, everyone was a very good actor. But I think that he really sold his role as, like, you know, like, he's kind of supposed to be a guy who has had his soul hardened. But, like, maybe a few points when we first meet him. But, like, every moment after that, his eyes never show any sense of he's mean or being cruel or he's angry. He, like, even when he is talking to the daughter and he's saying like, do not talk about my wife, like whatever, but like he's not saying it with anger. Like his eyes are just showing pure like kind of fear more than anything else, because he's literally like, of course it's never leaving anyone's head just how fricked up this situation is of like these monsters going around killing anything that makes sound. Like, it is horrible, and like you can just tell just by looking at his face that he's not a mean guy. He just like literally has no idea what the frick to do. Weird, because like I was wondering, like, you know, this guy has been alone for so long and then these people show up and why is he suddenly telling them to leave? I guess it's supposed to represent how his soul is hardened, he doesn't want to lose more people, he doesn't want to get attached. But I'm just like, mate, like, you're high, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the pandemic that I'm thinking, like, why? Like, I'm sorry, but I just, like, just do not get this pandemic, man. It's like, it's crazy. Sorry to get so controversial, but I'm honestly just wondering, like, why are there people that are actually scared of catching the virus and are willing to isolate themselves? I guess that there are just people like that who just are fine isolating themselves for the rest of their lives if it means that they don't die from a virus. But I don't know, man. But, like, I don't know. I just didn't get him. And then like he does kind of start to get to know more people, and I don't really know. I think he is definitely like an introvert, judging by the way that he was acting. But like, you know, it's just like, it was just crazy. I honestly just felt bad for him the entire movie. There was a point in the movie where the daughter, she finds a train on a train track, and then she just kind of climbs in, and then a monster like rushes by and like just smashes through the train. And it is kind of played off as, oh my god, like if she was literally just happening to stand like a few more feet in front, the monster would have gotten her just by pure coincidence. And, yeah. But then, like, she sees she looks at the train, and then, like, the camera zooms out, and it's like, it just holds on the shot of her in the train, and there's a huge hole in the train because the monster just blasted through. And I was just wondering, like, why am I looking at this? Like, tell me if I missed something there, because, like, I almost feel like that shot is there for people who hadn't seen the first one. It's supposed to be representing as, look at this hole in the train, look at how strong these monsters are. Because that's seriously the only thing that I could have thought of. Like, the camera was holding it there to say, these monsters are really strong. But as someone who has seen the first movie, I was like, yeah, I already know that. I know that they can smash through a train. Like, but like even in this movie, we saw them run. We saw day one of the attack, and the monsters are going around flipping cars everywhere. So I'm just like, why? Like, was it supposed to represent that the monsters are getting stronger? Because I didn't get a sense of that at any other point in the movie. I don't know. This lasted really quick, but there was like, the son was searching around, and then he finds this like warehouse. And there's like a bunch, I assume it's a bunch of guys have hung themselves, because it's literally just like a whole bunch of, but like the rope is there, but like the body isn't there. It's literally just their hat and their clothes, which I assume, you know, like they must have just gotten really fat. Like, I don't, were there warehouse jobs during this monster attack? And then they were like, we can't take this anymore, we gotta kill ourselves to get out of this, or whatever. Like, I don't really get it. Like, I didn't get what that was. Like, the fact that the clothes were there but there was no body makes me think that they had, like, killed themselves long ago and their bodies have, like, decomposed and there's just nothing anymore. But, like, it almost looked like they were there as some sort of fricked up decoration. Like I don't even get that. I don't get why they were there. Like, seriously, like, if someone knows, like, just explain it. The thing that I was kind of ticked off about this movie is that in the synopsis, they say, they end the synopsis of the movie by saying, like, but then they realize that there are other threats lurking around. And I was kind of hyped up by that, because I was thinking, are there going to be, like, other monsters? You know, are there going to be monsters that hunt by smell? Are there going to be, like, I don't know how this would work, but maybe there are monsters that can only attack if you hear them? So they're going to have to try and, like, block out noise, and the deaf girl is completely safe or something? I don't know. Instead, it wasn't anything. Oh, maybe they were gonna bring the freaking Bird Box monsters in, but like, there wasn't really anything. I don't get it, because the only other threat, other than the monsters, were these evil humans who have been like driven crazy and like I don't even get it. Like I didn't get what they were. They were there for like 5 minutes. Like obviously they haven't teamed up with the monsters. Maybe they're trying to help them. Maybe they're sacrificing others to the monsters. But like they haven't like formed an alliance because the guy he stabs him and then he screams and the monster kills him. I think. But like I didn't get why they were in the movie other than just a climax and also to give a conclusion to that guy diving. Like as soon as I saw that guy do the motion and the music goes like dun and it was like, oh, it's a callback to the beginning of the movie. But yeah, I didn't get it. The girl from The Ring is in the movie. Like as soon as I saw the little girl crying, I was thinking like, is this gonna be some sort of jump scare? I wanted to say out loud, it's the girl from The Ring. I haven't actually seen The Ring, but it did look like that. And then she goes up, and I didn't know what she was doing, if she was choking him. She goes up like this, and it's like really freaky. Oh, wait, I'm just thinking back. Did she have her mouth like sewed shut? Or so, oh, frick's sake. Better not get a cold. But like something was wrong with her mouth. I thought that she had a knife and she had stabbed him in the throat. But like he's completely fine afterwards, so that couldn't possibly have been it, I don't think. I wanted to just shout like kill them all as all the people were. I don't know. Throughout the entire movie I just wanted to shout something just to break people out of the quietness, but it just didn't really say anything. I wanted to shout like the guy with the beard is never gonna want to hear that freaking music again, because like they're playing at the end of the movie, they're playing the music and the guy's like about to get mauled by the monster, so it's like he's never gonna want to hear that music again. Final thing that I want to say about the movie is that, and I'm saving this for last because I know that no one wants to hear about gender representation, racial representation, or whatever. I don't know what to say about the movie's racial representation, because I think that like everyone was white except for like 3 people. A cop at the beginning, another guy in the middle of the movie, and like what I assume is his kid or someone else's kid. The last that we see of the kid is him being locked away with another kid in a closet when the monsters attacked, so that they wouldn't make noise. And the other 2 adult black characters are both male, and they both die. Somewhat honorably. The second guy, though, I didn't get it. Like it seemed like he was, like... I didn't get the climax where he goes into the car. Like, when I was just explaining it to my mom, I described it as the monster's attacking and he stays quiet, he gets into a car, and then he honks his horn. And then she was like, oh, so it's like he sacrificed himself. Oh, okay, that's okay. And I was like, yeah. But I was thinking like, but that's not really what happens. First of all, he wasn't alone. He got in with the other guy and the daughter, and they're like all going away, and it was just so that they could hide out for a bit. And then like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like, I need to get back to my family. And then he dies. So like, even the washing machine reacted to that. Like I didn't get it. It just felt like he all of a sudden decided, like, I get it, he wants to get back to his family, but, like, why? Why? Is just my question. But I thought this movie did a really good job at the gender representation because, you know, like, it felt kind of weird, the dynamic, because when we split off into the 2 groups, we basically have the 2 groups. We have the bearded guy and the daughter, and then we have the mother and the son. And with the mother and the son's like basically just doing the best that he can, but he's kind of like a bit incompetent, and the mother like kind of steps in to save him. And then we also have the bearded guy and the daughter, where the bearded guy has this like arc where he has to admit that he was wrong and the daughter was right about everything, and I was just like, oh, this is weird. But like, not that it's weird for a guy to admit that he's wrong to a girl. I'm just saying like, it just felt weird. I don't know. But like, anyway, felt weird that they had this whole like that they had to have a I was wrong sort of thing, like whatever. But like there were like I did really like for example, the bearded guy does save the daughter in the middle of the movie. Like the daughter, like she's literally like curled up in a corner about to die, and then he saves her at the last second. I literally wanted to applaud. I wanted to applaud at the end of the movie, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I wanted someone else to do it first. I guess everyone was kind of scared, and just wanted to be quiet. But then at the end of the movie, I thought it was really cool because we have the bearded guys. The bearded guy doesn't know what to do. The mother doesn't know what to do, but then the daughter and the son both individually managed to save themselves, and the other person managed to save their group, and the baby too, I guess. So it was cool. It was because we're seeing a female save herself and a male character, and a male saving himself and a female character. It was also they were both the children saving the adults. I don't know. Am I gonna get in trouble for saying this stuff? This is literally just stuff that I was thinking after the movie. But with that, I think I have literally covered everything that I wanted to say. But yeah, I thought this movie was really cool. Apparently there's a spin-off being made, and I think almost definitely they're wanting a third movie. It's weird, because the first movie kind of ended that way, too. It ended in a, oh, whoa, that's the end of whatever. And then the second movie kind of did... I mean, the first movie straight up ends with two monsters coming their way, and then it's kind of implied, okay, they're just going to do what they did. And in the second movie, we don't even get to see that. We see, we hear, two gunshots as the cop's dying on day one, and then it's kind of implied that that's what the kid was thinking about when she was shooting the two monsters, I guess, and then the monsters are dead. So, But yeah, yeah. That's what I thought of the movie. I recommend that you go see it, and like Chris Stuckman said, I do recommend that if you can, go and see it in a theater, because it's definitely a theater experience kind of movie. And in that case, I better get this video uploaded. So, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, comment down why, comment down thoughts, subscribe, and bye-bye, guys. Shush. Don't know how else to end this. Hey. I'm actually already running late for work, but there are just three other things that I wanted to quickly mention. Number one, I thought that the frequency that kills the monsters, or weakens the monsters or whatever, was like a dog whistle and couldn't be heard by humans. But it seems and I guess it was kind of obvious in the first one too, the way the girl turned it off in the first place, that it is audible by humans. Number two is that at the end of the movie, when the boy hears the frequency and takes off the headphones, I literally sat forward in my seat and I was figure it out. And number three, I gotta turn on this freaking machine again. But, and then the final... Is someone coming downstairs? I can't tell. Final thing that I want to say about this, I think I was just hearing things, but